Game preparation and management may be the difference between being a champion and always finishing second. This tape should inspire all of you with a few good ideas to develop your own system of preparation. We'll look at pre-game information gathering systems and ongoing information gathering processes and what to do with them once you get them. Watch pre-game infield if you get the opportunity or pre-game batting practice, and watch the opposing pitcher warm up. It should give you a competitive edge. You know, another aspect of preparing for a game is making out your lineup card. And I think sometimes we happen to overlook this as to its importance in preparation for a game. Let's just say, for instance, how do we put players down on a card? And of course, I'll show you the last one that I did as the manager of the San Diego Padres. In fact, I'd like to have this team again. I could also show you one on my girls' 12-year-old softball team that I did last week, that you don't even know who any of those names are. These you might recognize. My leadoff hitter was Tony Fernandez. Tony Gwynn hit second. Gary Sheffield hit third. Fred McGriff hit fourth. Santiago fifth. Jackson sixth. Clark seventh. Stillwell eighth. And Andy Bennis on the mound. Now, did I just put those names down in any arbitrary order, or did I have a reason behind putting them down? Well, of course I did, just like you do as a coach. I think one thing you need to consider is, what is the opposing pitcher, again, going to be like for that game? Are you going to need speed on the base paths? Are you going to have a chance to score a lot of runs? What I try to do is I try to bunch all my best hitters, whether it's my girls softball team, whether it's my high school softball team, or whether it happens to be my San Diego Padres. What I try to do is let the players' abilities complement each other. And it tells me who to hit where and why. Let's take, for instance, Tony Fernandez. Tony Fernandez was a switch hitter. He was a guy who had a fairly high on-base percentage and stole an average of 20 bases a year. I led him off and hit Tony Gwynn second because he has the highest on-base percentage and the best contact of anybody in the National League. Once I have these two guys hitting 1 and 2, Tony Gwynn can hit and run. He can do anything you ask him to do with a bat. He has great bat control. Now I backed these two guys up with Gary Sheffield, my third baseman. Now Gary almost won the Triple Crown in 1992 and has power and can do all the things you're asking him to do, but he's a guy that's going to drive in runs. So I know that the majority of the time that if I have Tony Fernandez on base or Tony Gwynn, and if Gary Sheffield hits a home run or an extra base hit, I got a shot at 1 or 2 runs. Now backing up Sheffield just happened to be Freddie McGriff, who's an outstanding hitter, a great kid, and he's not somebody that they're going to pitch around Gary Sheffield to get to Fred McGriff, because if you get past Sheffield, you got to face the crime dog. So if I look at those top 4 hitters, those are my top 4 best hitters on my club. The first 2 guys can run, get on base, hit and run. The next 2 guys can drive them in. So when you look at that lineup as you did in 1992, I had an excellent chance of scoring a crooked number early in the ball game with those guys coming up to hit. My 5-hole hitter was Santiago, who was also a good hitter and probably averaged 15 to 20 home runs a year. Then Darren Jackson, who hit 18 home runs, hit in the 7-hole or the 6-hole. Then I had Clark, Stillwell, and Bennis. But what I'm saying to you as a coach is you don't have these kind of players, and the Lord knows I wish I could have them again myself. But when I designed my batting order, I did it with a purpose. I wanted to know how they complemented each other. I wanted to know which guys were the guys that were going to get me stealing bases. I wanted to know which guys were going to be the ones that were going to drive runs in. And I designed my lineup accordingly. And if you will look at my players, if I rank them in order in terms of hitters, I would have my top 6 or 7 hitters all in the first 6 or 7 spots in the lineup. And I'm sure you do the same on your lineup card. But I also put down a lot of other intricacies that allowed me some extra information. I would divide at the bottom of my lineup card as you see here on mine. If you will look at my left-hand hitters, you'll see Asokar and you'll see an LBH. He is a low ball hitter, and you'll see a 4.0 here. The 4.0 only means that's what his time to first base is. You may be in a situation where you can't have a slow guy hitting up there because you know he's a dead double play threat. So you'll know that this guy is a faster runner or that this girl is a better runner to first base, and you'll want her bat in there because she can't get doubled off. So I put all these little notes behind each name, As you see on my lineup card, under my right-hand hitters, I have Tuffle and Ward. And I have one of them as a high ball hitter, the other one as a low ball hitter. And I have their running times to first base also. Then you'll notice below I have an SW, which is a switch hitter. Thomas Howard was a switch hitter and a 3-9 runner to first base. Then you'll notice below that under LH I had my left-hand relief pitchers, and under RH my right-hand relief pitchers. You'll also see numbers after their names which only indicate what their release time is to the plate. You'll notice under Larry Anderson, who now pitches for the Philadelphia Phillies, that his release time to the plate was 1.8 seconds, which means that if he gets a base runner on, we're in big trouble because they can steal second and third. So I tried to use Larry Anderson as a setup man rather than a guy that was going to come in and close a game. I do all these similar things when I'm making out my 12-year-old competitive softball lineup card and my high school lineup card for my girls softball team in high school, simply because they all have interesting pluses and they all have interesting minuses in what they can do to help us win a game. And I list all of them on the card and make all of my little notes after their name. You may have a girl on the bench who is a rise ball hitter. She hits everything high. The girl sitting next to her may hit the low ball. So based on the pitcher that's pitching out there, you don't want to put a low ball hitter against a rise ball pitcher, or you don't want to put a high ball hitter against a drop ball pitcher. So if you make those little notes behind their name in the lineup card, when you get ready to make a decision, it gives you a better chance of picking the right thing.